Hey, Babbling Fantasy Football back here with you with the solo pod. Ryan and I had conflicting schedules, so it's just going to be me. I'm going to be super quick here, giving you updates on injuries and giving you the waiver wire. Um, and also bye weeks coming up. It's bye week Palooza. We wanted to make sure that we got this episode out to you before waivers early on Tuesday morning, so that way you guys could prepare. So going right into the bye weeks this coming week, we got the Cardinals, we got the Lions, we got the Jaguars, we got the Raiders, the Rams, and the Seahawks. So you're going to be with a lot without a lot of your star players this coming week. No Amon Ra, no Jameer Gibbs, no Travis Etienne, no BTJ, who we'll talk about here in a little bit. No Ashton Genty, no Puka, no Devontae, no Kyron, no Kenneth Walker. So a lot of guys are going to be missing from your lineup. We're going to give you some waiver wire options that you can go ahead and pick up. There were some notable injuries this last week. Jumping over to the running back position, Kendre Miller was the big one. He's out for the year with a torn ACL. They also said they weren't going to be trading Alvin Kamara. So it looks like it's just going to be the old man with the Saints. Unfortunately, Kendre Miller was starting to play well, and he was getting a lot more snaps. Brian Thomas Jr. left the game with a shoulder injury. He just hasn't looked like himself all season. It's very unfortunate. He's not looked like himself. It's a good thing they're going into the bye week, so you don't even have to worry about playing him. Hopefully he gets healthy and he's back here in 2 weeks. Dontavian Wicks left with a calf injury as well. Something to monitor. Darren Waller had a pectoral injury. You'll have to monitor that. Hopefully, it's not long term. If it is a torn pec, he's probably done for the year. Um, yeah, quarterback wise, Jaden Daniels hamstring injury. They said it wasn't long term, but we don't know the severity quite yet. I would expect him to miss at least 1 week. Bryce Young as well with an ankle injury. Um, yeah, in deeper leagues, you'll probably need to monitor that as well. We might be seeing Andy Dalton, the big red rifle. We've seen their wide receivers really benefit when he's been out in the past. So I would expect Tedero McMillan to have a couple of big weeks if he does happen to miss. So we mentioned injuries, we mentioned the bye weeks. Now let's get into some guys that you can be picking up on your waiver wire. Um, the number one pickup out of everyone this week, I think, might be Gadsden. He's a tight end for the Chargers. He had a really big breakout week. I know Herbert ended up throwing it 55 times, which is insane. They were just down in that game trying to claw their way back. I don't expect Herbert to be throwing it as much, and there's a big crowded room here for the Chargers offense. So I wouldn't expect too much going forward. Maybe as a long-term guy, he could be good like a few years down the road once Keenan Allen finally decides to retire. But yeah, he had 9 targets, 7 catches for 164 yards and a touchdown. That's insane. You might get a few spike weeks out of him going forward, but I don't expect that to continue. Colston Loveland, we saw an injury to Cole Kmet. And usually rookies in the back half of the season start to do better. So with the Cole Kmet injury, we could see Loveland really step up. If you're in need of a tight end, it's worth a roster spot. Probably don't play him right away, but you want to wait and see that, see if he turns into something here. That's probably it for tight ends. Again, some deeper leagues. Unfortunately, we're recording before the Monday night game, so we haven't seen the results of the Seahawks versus Texans game. So if there's any significant injuries in that game, I apologize. We're not going to cover that. And that's same with the Lions, blanking on Lions Bucks game. We're not going to see if there were any injuries in that. So fingers crossed, hopefully not. So those were tight ends. Jumping over to the quarterback position, Jackson Dart has looked great. His rushing upside has been there last 2 weeks, quarterback 4 and quarterback 3, and he's had tough matchups too. That rushing upside is just allowing him to be great. And I can't even imagine how good he would be if he had Malik Neighbors to throw to too. I think he's worth the stash in the right matchup if you're missing, a quarterback this week too, like Jared Goff, if you're missing. Matthew Stafford or even Sam Darnold. There's not a lot of huge quarterback names this week. But Jackson Dart, he gets to go up against Philly again, who they just played 2 weeks ago. We saw him finish as the quarterback four. So maybe he can repeat that again, but maybe they figured him out. Um, Other quarterbacks here, CJ Stroud, maybe, depending on the right matchup. He's quarterback four in week five. Again, we've yet to see him play against Seattle, but San Francisco's not a terrible matchup for him. And then at the running back position, a lot of the same names that we've been mentioning. Kyle Monangai of the Bears has gotten very involved since the bye week. He saw 16 carries or 16 opportunities this last week against New Orleans. Finished as the RB10. Well, again, we have another RB's play tonight, but he's the RB10 right now before Monday Night Football. He's worth a stash, especially if Swift gets hurt. He would be a workhorse running back. And then some other guys here to mention, Isaiah Davis. There's been a lot of rumors here with Breece Hall getting traded. So Isaiah Davis should be rostered. He's basically the only running back there right now with Braylon Allen being out like 8 to 12 weeks. And that's only been about 2 to 3 weeks now. So Isaiah Davis is another guy to pick up. Kareem Hunt, we also saw go down to injury. I forgot to mention that. So Brashad Smith of the Kansas City Chiefs should be picked up. Currently sitting at the RB 17 overall. Maybe it was a rookie breakout here. Um, but you never know. That Kansas City offense, they're high powered. They're looking very good, and someone's going to have to carry the ball. Pacheco hasn't looked great this season, so I think he's worth a pickup. We'll talk Fab at the end. Ryan did send me a couple other names to mention. He mentioned Kayshon Boutte again for the New England Patriots. Continues to keep getting it done. I don't know if you can rely on that, but he finished as a wide receiver 17, but he only had 2 targets for 2 catches for 55 yards and then that touchdown. And then he mentioned Theo Johnson of the New York Giants. Again, they don't have too many options in that New York Giants offense, so he's got to throw to someone. Again, Jackson Dart has been playing well, so maybe he could turn into a reliable option down the stretch. All right, talking Fab here. Since I'm on the tight end page that I've got here rolling, Gadsden for the Chargers, rookie. I wouldn't be paying too much for him. I'd maybe throw out a buck or two if you really want him, or if you're needing it based on bye weeks. If you're the Laporta manager, if you're the McBride manager, yeah, you could throw a buck on him. And then wide receiver wise, I forgot to mention Alec Pierce. He mentioned Kayshon Boutte. These are guys you could drop like 0 to 5 fab on. You'll probably end up getting them. Um, if you really want them slightly more, like 6, 7 bucks. But nothing really big there. There's not a huge lot of names this week. Uh, Kyle Monangai. If you're the Swift manager, I'd probably put a couple bucks on him. I think Brashad Smith, Isaiah Davis are worth picking up. I'd spend a couple bucks on them. Stash them in case Breece Hall gets hurt here. And then again, we keep mentioning stash those handcuff running backs, please. We're seeing week after week, big names are getting hurt. You should really be picking up their handcuff running back. They're so important. You just never know when they're going to go down. I've been rostering Brian Robinson all year in my main league here. Christian McCaffrey's been so good. I know he won't be as good as Christian McCaffrey if he did end up getting hurt, but you just never know. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it on the waiver wire. I did end up picking up Manuel Wilson this last week because we were concerned about the Josh Jacobs injury, but that's pretty much it. Yeah. Some defenses that are worth a stash this week. I would look at the Colts, who get to go up against Tennessee Titans. Again, they keep looking bad. The Falcons get to play the Miami Dolphins. Tua threw another 3 interceptions, ended up getting benched late in that game. The New England Patriots get to play Cleveland. Kansas City Chiefs get to play Washington, possibly without Jaden Daniels, so that could be another good matchup. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get to play New Orleans. Those are five great matchups go spend a couple bucks on them if you really want them. Or just wait to see who's left out of those five. I think they're all worth playing. And then just some notes from this last weekend. We had a lot of big performances again on Thursday night. We saw Jamar Chase drop 38 points. Christian McCaffrey, he looks like his old self. That's why another reason you should be rostering Brian Robinson as the backup if you're the CMC owner. Mahomes continues to get it done. Dak Prescott continues to get it done. Drake May, they are all playing super well. We saw Bo Nix, a huge breakout game in that crazy New York Giants one. He ended with 39 points on the week, was the quarterback one overall. Um, George Pickens had an okay week. We saw CeeDee Lamb back and at it. Keenan Allen had a great week. But yeah, other than that, we saw a couple of duds. Some of the big names: Saquon Barkley, Ashton Genty, Drake London, Justin Jefferson, just not getting it done. Um, Maybe Ryan and I will talk more about that on Friday's episode of Trade Away Guys, Trade For Guys, if they've been performing well. But thanks for listening. Good luck on your waiver wire. Don't be spending too much on these guys this week. Pick up those couple of running backs because their opportunity could go up. But good luck with all the buys and have a fun night. Thanks.